Crafters. In tonight's video, we're going to be making a wedding card using the Classics Weddings Photopolymer stamp set and dies. For the background paper, we're going to be using the Forever Plaid 3D embossing folder. Before we get started, I want to let you know about our starter kit promotion. You can choose $165 worth of Stampin' Up! Items for your starter kit, but only pay $99. That's an extra $66 to kickstart your starter kit. How cool is that? I want to let you know that our new rewards program is up and running. With that, you earn 10% on every $20 you spend to be redeemed at a future purchase. Hi, I'm Joan Heberlein. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I created this video for Joan Simple Papercrafts, found right here on YouTube. If you're new here, I want to thank you for stopping by. If you're a returning guest, welcome back. Be sure to subscribe by clicking the subscribe button below. That way you won't miss when I post a video, which is typically every other week. Now give me a few seconds to turn the camera down and we'll get started. Well, here's a card we're going to be making today. We're going to use the Classic Wedding Photopolymer stamp set along with the Classic Wedding dies. And then we're going to use the Forever Plaid 3D embossing folder for our background paper. We used this stamp, these two stamps, this stamp and these two, this one, and this one. So just about all those stamps. And then we're going to use these dies. This is for the bumper. This is the banner. This is to outline the car. And this is for the trim on the car. These are for the back taillights. This is our party streamer. Here's our hearts we want to use. And our tin cans. And then our ribbon with tin cans. And then more of the party streamers. That's about it. We'll go ahead and get started. What we're going to do first is we're going to cut the bumper and the taillights and the rim around the window out of this silver foil. And we're going to use our mini cut and emboss machine. And we're going to use this pattern right here. We're going to use one plate, and there's a one. And then we got number 2 plates. There's a number 2, and here's a number 2. And I'm going to put the number 2 down. Then we'll bring in our silver foil, and we want to bring in the bumper first. And then the rest of our trim. This is our window trim and our taillight trim. We'll use that for right now. And then we're just going to crank. Bring our second number 2 on there. Okay, and we'll get our take your pick tool to get those out. Well, that worked really well. Okay, here's one taillight, another taillight. Here's our window. And here's our bumper. Then we're going to take this, and I'm going to just stamp this with our banner here. And we're going to use basic gray. I'm going to apologize because I haven't gotten the dimensions in metrics. So I'll put them on later on. Maybe go right here. And then I'm going to do this in basic gray. It doesn't fit. See if we can't get them on there. I don't like that. All right, and we're going to go ahead and clean our dies up right now. This is our Stampin' Scrub. And I'm going to spray it here. Well, there's raindrops there. And then there's a sunbeam there. So this is where we want to spray it. I'm going to bring in a piece of paper to stamp off. That gets that excess ink out of here. Keeps this cleaner. Then then we're going to bring in our die cutting machine again, and we'll cut out this. Let me do one more thing. We can stamp our sentiment on here, just married, and we're going to use our Summer Splash for that. There. Okay. Now we can bring in our die cutting machine, and we're going to bring this in. Let's get our plates here. We got the number 1, the number 2. And we're going to bring in our second number 2 here in just a second. And I'm getting some of that cover-up tape. There, that's done. And we'll stamp these again, so we're not going to cut those out. Okay, we're going to bring in our colored cardstock. We have our Cajun Coral, our Petal Pink, and our Summer Splash. And we're going to do our die cutting on those. And let's bring up our die cutting machine. So we want to do this out of the Petal Pink. So that's the bow and the ribbon with the beer cans tied to it. I need it this way though. I have a really bad mess in my office here and having trouble even making room for this card class. So hopefully you will bear with me. And we're going to do some of these flags out of the Petal Pink. And then we'll go ahead and run that through. So we have 3 of those. We want to have another 3 of those. And we have to get these flags here. Alright, there's one. And then just do one more of the Petal Pink flags. Stuck to my finger. And then we'll just knock these out. Okay, then next we want to do the flags that are strung together. And we'll use the Summer Splash on the first one. And we'll knock that out. And then we're going to do Cajun Coral next. Okay, where did that go? And I'm wondering if this is going to fit on here, and it will, so we can use this for our next piece. We're not ready for it just yet. So we're going to bring in this mini Misty, and I have the car on there, the body of the car. I don't know if you can see that. And then we're going to use our basic gray. And I think that's enough for the basic gray, so I'm going to pull this shut. Probably shouldn't have done that because the reason I'm using the Misty is if it doesn't stamp right, I can go back and redo the same thing, but luckily it's stamped correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and just take our next piece, which is going to be our body of the car in the Summer Splash. I'm going to leave it in the Misty here since it's all stuck down right now. And I want to get this on here, and let me get my head in there. Sorry about it. Very good. I'm going to close this up for now. And we've got our bumper to glue on here. And we're going to use our mini glue gun. This is called the Sweet Petunia. And it's not a Stampin' Up! Product, but it allows me to squeeze these small places, which I can't do with our other glue. I do have this glue inside this bottle here. What I want to point out is, in order to have this work right, you want to put it in this stand here. There's that rubber stopper there. That will pinch off the bottom of the bottle, and that'll keep things fresh. So I'm going to put this on here next, and I should have done our tires next before this. So let me just pull this off and set it aside right now. We want to have the tires done. I'll have to re-glue that. Let me get our tires. I'm using our Tuxedo Black in Memento ink. And I'm just going to do this right here. Sorry if my head's in the way. I'll do this side. Okay, that looks better. And looks like I got a little bit of ink on there. And I think if I use this real quick, I might be able to get it off. Yes, I got that off. Then I'm going to put this bumper back on. I'm going to add a little more glue. And I should put it on our silicone mat. I'm going to do that because I don't want to mess up anything else now. I'm just going to add just a really quick, still tacky right now. I want to get it on there good. Don't want it pulling off on me. Okay, put the glue there. And then we will use this. That's for the trunk. Okay, then we have our tail lights. Here's one, and they're sticking to my fingers. I'm going to just pick it up with this. Here's the tail light. Now I'm going to put a red piece inside that tail light. That's just the trim for the tail light. Here's the other trim. Needs to be over just a hair so that bumper can be open, or the trunk can be open. Okay, and next we're going to put this piece on here, but I want to paint our inside of the windows first, and we're going to have that with our smoky slate. And then we're going to bring in glue gun again. There. Then we're going to take our car and we're going to cut him out. First I'm going to close these ink pads up that are still open. I think just to have the one. Then we're going to clean our stamps again. Okay, then we're going to take this, bring in our mini cut and emboss machine, and we're going to put this on here. So we have our number 1, number 2, and I shouldn't have put the bumper on. Shouldn't have put all those things on there. Could have stamped it, but not everything else, because it's going to flatten it now. Oh, I want to switch plates. So this one is the one that we've been using for our cutting plate. So we're going to put this on here. And I'm going to use this tape again. You can reuse it over and over. All right, let Let's give her a crank. All right, it came out okay. Yeah. I wouldn't recommend gluing things on and then running it through your cut and emboss machine. For one thing, could have put glue onto this panel, and I don't see any on there. I don't feel any. We were lucky there. So let's bring in our cardstock. We've got our basic white, and this is a piece cut at 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches, and we need to score that at 4.25 inches. And like I said earlier, I don't have the dimensions in metrics, but I will add them to the measurements in the comments section below. Then we're going to take our next piece in basic white, and we're going to use our cut and emboss machine, and we're going to use a Forever Plaid 3D embossing folder to emboss those plaids onto this paper. We need to get the big cutting embossing machine. So this tells me we need the number 1, so that's this number 1, and the number 4 plate. So let me get my number 4 plate. Here's our number 4, and we're going to put that in there, and then we're just going to crank. Isn't that lovely? So we're going to go back to our cardstock that we put the score line on, and we're going to fold that on the score line. So you see where the divot is? So it's going in and it goes down and then it comes back up. So that's called a valley, and we're going to fold away from the valley, and then we're going to use our embossing folder to burnish that fold. And I'm going to do it on both sides because I like to have a nice crisp edge. And I think I'm going to put this on here, and I think I'm just going to use regular glue. I don't think I want to have it raised up. Let me see. I think I want it flat. Let me see where our car went to. So we could raise this up. That will look a lot better. Yes. So this is going to be glued down. And let me get my silicone mat here again. All right, and we'll put it right here. I'm leaving 1/8 of an inch for a border on all 4 sides, and I don't want to press very hard. So I'm just going to go on the inside and use my bone folder on the inside, because we don't want to press those embossed images away. That's why we did that. Then we're going to raise this up with our dimensionals. I have some regular dimensionals we'll put on the back. One right up there, one there, one at each tire, one on each side. I like to use a lot of dimensionals, particularly if it's going to go through the US mail, because I don't want it to get all wonky from going through the US mail. And then I'm going to just take these paper backings off using our Take Your Pick tool. We want to make sure we got this on there in the right spot. So let me just press that on there, hold it there. Let me take a few seconds. I can put it right down here because it's not going to go anywhere, and it won't stick to that mat because of its silicone. And I'm going to put a little dimensional on there in the back here. And make sure that you don't see that. And I'm going to take time to just push that in. I don't want it to stick out. And we'll put it right here. There, now we should be able to know where it's going to go on here. I think right about there looks fine. Okay. Then we have our beer cans. We don't have them anymore because we didn't die cut them because we didn't like how that would look. So I've got that, and I want to put the flags underneath. We got 6 of the petal pink, and we've got these here, and I'm just going to go ahead and put those on every other one. Do the next one. Okay. I think I'm going to put it underneath. Put these on top. Just about like that, I'm thinking. Okay, let's get this one down first. Then we have our banner. Let's do our sentiment on the inside first before we go any farther. Okay, so we're going to take our cardstock and we're going to stamp this on the inside using our Summer Splash. We want it to say cheers to the happy couple. Okay, good. So then it says just married and cheers to the happy couple. So let's do our beer cans yet. That's our stamp. And we've got some white here. We want that to be done in our Summer Splash. Okay. Then we're going to cut those out, and we're going to cut out our brakes lights, and we're going to cut out these flowers, and the flowers will be coming out of our petal pink. I can find the petal pink. All right, and I'm going to close this up before I put my elbow in it. So this is going to be our brake light right there. And that's going to be our hearts. I think I need to stop there. Okay. There's all our little hearts. I think I'll leave that out. There's our tail lights. We got one more to do. Our beer cans. We're going to glue these down onto our card. I'm going to put a glue dot in the back here. Not a glue dot, but a dot of glue. Okay, and then you just want to make sure that those aren't stuck down. We want them kind of loose. Then we're going to take this. These are our brake lights. And I'm going to put a little glue dot on the inside. A dot of glue on the inside. And then it's just going to go right there. And I'm going to straighten it out a little bit. That looks great. Do the same thing with this one. Dot of glue. What are we missing? I want to put a heart on each of these beer cans. So we're going to put a dot of glue. think we are done. I hope you liked this project as much as I did. I can see using this card for other events. Maybe somebody just bought their first car, or maybe they got their driver's license. Why don't you give it a try? Now, if you've enjoyed today's video, would you do me two favors? Click the thumbs up emoji, which means you like it, and would you share it on social media with your crafting friends and pin it to Pinterest? These actions will help me to keep sharing my ideas with other crafters for free, and I'd really appreciate that. Be sure to hit the subscribe button below so you won't miss any future videos. If you have any questions, be sure to contact me. I'm here to help in any way that I can. And if you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'd love to be your demonstrator. Just reach out to me. If you'd like to place a Stampin' Up! Order or would like a catalog, hop over to my website where you'll find the Shop Now button. To shop with me, you'll need to go to joanheberlein.stampinup.net. Mark your calendars. I'll be back in 2 weeks on Sunday, June 8th at 7 p.m. Central Time, and we'll be making something from the new annual catalog, and I hope you'll be here to join me. Thanks so much for being here with me tonight, and I look forward to next time. Bye for now, and don't forget to subscribe.